Greetings, viewers. Hi, kids. Somebody informed me the other day that my opening of Hi, Kids kind of can sound condescending. I don't mean to be. It's just that all the really good catchphrases were already taken. If you have a better one for me, leave it in the comments. I'm open for suggestions. I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about that. I just latched on to something. So today, we're going to the junkyard. And I'm going to do my best to answer a question I've been asked a couple of times, which is, how do you cross-reference parts if I'm at the junkyard looking for a blower fan for a Honda Element, and there's no Honda Element at the junkyard? Is there another car I can pull one out of? Us scavenger types do have a few things working in our favor. The Honda Accord has some parts that are interchangeable with a Honda Element because it used the same engine for a while. The Honda Odyssey also has parts that are usable inside the Honda Element. And we're lucky because Honda Accords and Honda Odysseys are all over the junkyard. So it's time to go to my happy place. That's what this channel is all about, scavenging in the junkyard. Woo! Should that be my new opener? Woo! I'll just do that every time I do it. Instead of going, hi kids, I'll just go, woo! How about that? Wait, there's already a guy that does that, isn't there? Yeah, all the good stuff's taken. Delta 88 Royale. You guys have heard me talk about this. I used to have one of these. That's the rims on my truck came from one of these. Mine was white. This one's this cool blue-gray. Honda Element owners recognize this. Nissan Cube. It also gets called a toaster. Doesn't have suicide doors though, so that's just not as cool as a Honda Element. There's a fun one. A lot of the Element guys get accused of actually wanting to be Range Rover drivers. I wonder if this brush guard would fit on my Honda. Is it cool? I don't know. I've never really checked one out very closely. She's got running boards. Ooh. Inside on this thing's nice. We got a sunroof and another sunroof and then like little side windows. This thing's kind of cool. Big fancy cup holders, and what is that? That's your low and high for your four-wheel drive. Push buttons. Yeah, this thing's cool. I could see why somebody would want one of these. Spare tire on the back. New Orleans. Yeah. Looks like it was pulled out of the river somewhere. So you may be asking yourself, if you're looking for parts for Honda Elements and Honda Odysseys, what on earth are you doing in a Honda Pilot? Well, that kind of gets to the root of what we're doing here today. We're going to rob the blower fan out of this vehicle to put in my Honda Odyssey. And the only reason is it's just a little bit easier to get out than the one in the Honda Odyssey. And you're not going to believe that once you see how I have to fold myself in half to get in here to get this stupid thing out. If you start with the back bolt, put your feet out the window, because if you can't get the back bolt, then you just need to give up. This is, by the way, a much easier job on the Honda Element than it is on the Odyssey or the Pilot or any of those cars. I'm gonna cut this plug off and take it with me so that I can have me a little test rig when I get ready to try it out. Who made this? Denso. So while we're here nosing around in this Honda Pilot, I'll show you this. You can rob this intermittent windshield wiper control knob and install it on your Honda Element and end up with front and rear intermittent windshield wipers. It's kind of a cool trick. And on the other side, it's got a switch for fog lights, which I imagine you could wire into your fog lights if you wanted to. Yahtzee. I finally found what I was looking for. This is a 2005 Honda Accord with the K24 motor. This power steering pump will fit on your 2006 to 2011 Honda Element. That's it. 2 hoses, 2 bolts. You've got yourself a power steering pump that hopefully doesn't leak. Another part that you can use is that VTEC valve. We all know how famous that VTEC valve is for going out. However, that one, if you look closely, is an aftermarket. That's one of those $40 eBay units, and I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm not gonna waste your time even pulling it. You can tell because, first of all, it's brand new, so it's recently been changed, and those bolt heads are not the ones that Honda uses on their VTEC valves. Some other parts that'll swap straight over to your Honda, obviously things like the dipstick, the plastics on the engine, the intake, that'll all switch over. This reservoir for the power steering, tensioner. But something that's expensive is this right here, your alternator. This alternator will go straight onto your Honda Element. To remove that, you unhook this plug, 1, 2, 3 bolts holding it in. That's it. Not every Honda Accord at the junkyard is going to have the parts you need. For example, this one doesn't have any of the stuff because it's got a different motor. If the pulleys and the belts and all that stuff are on the driver's side of the motor, you're looking at the wrong kind of engine. They need to be over here on the passenger side of the motor. Your power steering pump, water pump, alternator, air conditioner, all that stuff needs to be over here. That's how you know you're looking at a K-series motor if it's a 4-cylinder. So this is a 2002 Honda Accord, and the pulley's on the right side, so it's going to have the right parts, correct? Not correct. This is a V6. You can tell because it's got coil packs over there, coil packs over here. If it's only got 3 of these coil packs facing you, then it isn't going to have very many compatible parts. I don't know, the alternator might be interchangeable, could be, I don't know. Something else I like to do at the junkyard is come sit behind the wheel of vehicles I have absolutely no business being in. This is a Jaguar. It's a V6. Who buys a Jaguar V6? If you want the Jaguar, you get the V12, don't you? Knew this would happen when Ford bought them. Terrible. There's a 2-door Accord with a horrible paint job, but it has the right motor. So there's a power steering pump we can use on some of the elements. Alternator, VTEC valve back there, oil cap, which I have lost and had to get off of an Accord before. And you know somebody loved that when they brought it home. It was loved and it was somebody's whole world. And now it's here. Mini Cooper. Ooh. '2005 CRV. Was pretty clean when she was parked. Wonder what's wrong with it. There's a radio code. There's a radio. It's got a 6-disc changer. Fancy. Somebody's been at the relays and whatnot, so she had electrical issues. Yeah. But honestly, really clean. Let's see what's under the hood. Wow, she hasn't been picked through or nothing. There's a good power steering pump for us, alternator. And VTEC still in there, factory. A lot of good parts we could steal for our Honda Element on this CRV. Look at these seats. Look at these freaking seats. These things are perfect. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get a pair of these in my Element one day. I've seen guys pull these wheel racks and put them on Elements. I'm not a fan, but if you were, there's one for you. That is a Ricer's Wet Dream 2001 Accord in some kind of neon orange and black carbon fiber. Lord, love a monkey. Look at these fine custom wheels. It's even got painted brake calipers. Wow. Let's get a closer look. Come on. Come on, you can't tempt me like that. Genuine carbon fiber tape. Oh, and it's got to be an R-type. Well, it does have a V6. That'll make it get up and go. I'm sure it was fun to drive. If you didn't mind getting looked at. 2009 Mercedes. At the Benzo. Boy, they really like you to know where that screw-up button is, don't they? Oh, still got the cassette deck adapter in there. So you could go high-tech. Nada. Smells good in here. Smells like leather. Look down there, there's got to be like a $1.25 in there. Oh my God. Well, this poor bastard, there's nothing left. Which is good. I mean, we want to see these cars get recycled, but good Lord. So I got the parts I needed, and now I'm just kind of nosying around in everybody's business. Let me show you what I found here. This is a Honda CR-V with a K24 motor. You've had people tell you that you need to get your valves adjusted, especially if you've got high mileage and you haven't been to the dealership in a while, or if you bought your car used, get your valves adjusted. Check them, get them adjusted. I'm going to show you why. Look what I found. This cylinder here is kind of what it should look like. It's burning a little rich, so it's black. This one over here, see what we got? Well, these valves broke. When it did, it came down in the combustion chamber. The piston came up and hit it and smashed it into the top of the head. Ended up breaking the other valve, bent this valve. There's only one good valve left in here. This head is destroyed. If you look at this side, which is the side you're going to see if you adjust your valves, you should have a cam on here and cam keepers and all that, but they were all gone when I got here. Look at this. I mean, there's nothing left. This here is the actual piston. And that giant hole was caused by a valve breaking and going through there. You can see where it hit a few times before it killed it. But if you don't get your valves adjusted, this is what you're in for, folks. Spend a few $100 now instead of having to buy a new car later. Or if you're feeling froggy, you can watch some YouTube videos and adjust them yourself. It's not that hard. Whether you do it yourself or pay somebody else, don't be this guy. You don't want to be this guy. There's also supposed to be some Acuras with the K24 motor. I don't know. Mitsubishi wheels are kind of cool. So once again, I find myself tucked away behind the wheel of a vehicle I have no business being in. This is a Volvo. Volvo? It's a Volvo. It's a fancy car, but it's seen better days. While I was here, a fellow walked up to me and said, hey, do you think this part that I'm pulling here will fit on my car? This is from a 2003, but my car is a 2005. And I'll tell you how I was able to answer his questions. I got my phone, I go on eBay, and I punch in 2003, the car he's looking for, starter. And of course it comes back with a part. I click on that part and scroll down, and it tells me all the different model years that that starter will fit. That's how I cross-reference things out here in the junkyard, and I've never been wrong. I've never come home with a part that didn't fit my car. That's how I was able to figure out that the blower motor from a 2005 Honda Pilot is going to fit in my Honda Odyssey, and it will. I was also able to figure out that the door actuators out of a 2004 Honda Odyssey, which this junkyard is full of, will fit in my Honda Element, which there are none of. So when I needed the actuator, and you're probably going to need a driver's side lock actuator eventually for your Honda Element, because they go out all the time, you can go to the junkyard and pull one out of a Honda Odyssey. And it's as simple as looking the parts up on eBay and scrolling down and seeing what all it fits. You got to do a little bit of detective work. I'm getting actual Honda parts. These are Denso motors. Yeah, they've got 100,000 miles on them, but they've probably got another 100,000 miles on them. If I went to Honda and bought that part, it'd cost me hundreds of dollars. Instead, here it's going to cost me like 20 bucks. Maybe. Might cost me 10. We'll see. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode. We saw some pretty fun cars out here in the junkyard. Got to try and imagine what their stories were, which is, I'm a sentimental guy. I do that all the time out here in the junkyard. Till next week, when I hope to have some more Honda Element content for you, remember to like and subscribe. See you next time on Scavenger Type.